Oh my lord, you're close. You are close. Wait, this is not okay. Why are you so close to me? I don't know what setting I put it on, but this is close. Hello, welcome back to another video. Now, today's video is all around training while you have HA. Now, I've done a few videos on this, but it's requested so much, especially as a lot of you have seen that I've gone back to CrossFit, and then when I answer some of these questions that I do on Instagram, there's a lot around like, whoa, hang on a second, you didn't give up exercising altogether. And I'm like, no. And I think there is a bit of a misconception around what is required to recover. Now, we've got to bear in mind that every single person is different, right? We've got to bear in mind that some of us are coming from like an athlete background, some of us are coming from like an actual like physical job background, some of us are coming from like eating disorder history, disordered eating, like there's loads of different reasons around why, or even like work-life balance, right? About why we would go through HA and why we need to get our period back. And it's really important that first of all, we find out what is our reason. Now, for me, mine was definitely like a restrictive diet as well as a lot of exercise. However, because I spent quite a long period of time in half recovery, which is where I was reducing my exercise, but you know, and trying to eat a little bit more, but not doing enough. But because I had done little bits, so I'd sort of like stopped running and I'd stopped here and I was doing more like gymnastics based stuff. What that meant is that I had made some improvements. So by the time that I then started working with Rini, she was like, well, it's not actually like, it's not obviously ideal because like your hormone levels aren't obviously ideal because otherwise you'd have your period back, but they're not horrendous that it means that you have to completely stop it. And one thing that really resonated with me is that she said, you know, like being into exercise and fitness and stuff is an element of part of who you are. And for her to turn around, she was saying, for her to turn around and say to me to like completely cut it out like altogether, that's a big ask for when it's been your sort of like personality for so long. And then marrying that with the fact that my hormone profiles weren't like mega low, so I had some estrogen and my cortisol wasn't like too through the roof. She recommended that I did do some exercise if that's what I felt inclined to do, but I really reduced the intensity and the frequency some more, and then I really looked at my food around my training. So it's sort of similar, I guess, for like athletes and people that work in the fitness industry. They might be taking loads of classes and stuff and saying like, actually, do you know what, your lifestyle isn't going to enable you to completely give up exercise altogether, so these are the steps that we can put in. So I guess if you're in that camp, what I would recommend when it comes to your training is 100% reducing the intensity and the frequency. That was recommended to me by Reedy McGregor. And what we mean by that is the intensity is how intense like the actual workout is. So if you're doing like something mega intense like HIIT or weightlifting, like if you're doing weightlifting, drop that down to maybe like 60, like 40, no, yeah, probably like 40 to 60% of your sort of drop it down to around like 4 to 6 out of 10 RPE. I was about to say like 40 to 60% 1 rep max, but not sure that's necessary. Maybe 40% would be right, but I would say yeah, like RPE really. And if you're doing like circuits and things like that, it would just be making sure that you're adding like really good amount of rest, and exactly the same with weight training, actually making sure that in between sets your rest is really long. I would also shorten the amount of exercises that you do, and I would shorten your actual workout time. Then when it comes to your frequency, I would say you're used to doing like 5 days a week, I would maybe bring that down to 3 days a week, and I'd make sure there was a rest day every like in between. Remember that recovery isn't forever, so the sooner you get better and the sooner you heal your body and sort of shift your mindset and start following a program that's actually a lot more sustainable, the quicker you are able to go back to increasing that intensity a little bit more. You know, like it might be that if you've sort of pushed your body to its limits for quite a while, it might take it quite a while to then get to a point of resilience where it can handle it. But for me now, I do CrossFit and my body can really handle it. It's the running that is like just a little bit touch and go for me, and I think it's because for me running suppresses my appetite, so I have to then like consciously think it, and when I'm trying to run like businesses and stuff, that's quite difficult for me. So I know that's more maybe not necessarily the running for me, but it's more of like my approach on the outside of things around running. So that's what I would say around sort of like reducing the intensity. I would also look at things like restorative exercise. So rather than going out on huge hikes, it's like, okay, maybe I could just go for a walk with a friend, and like reframing our mindset around like how we view movement. Like exercise doesn't just have to be a workout. Exercise doesn't just have to be hitting X amount of steps a day. What it could be is like, or what it is, sorry, is movement is any type of movement. So, and movement is good for us. So whether that's through a mobility workout, whether that's through a yoga video, or you're heading to a yoga class, or you're just going for a stroll with a friend, like that is all movement. And I think it's like looking at movement as a wider picture rather than just like looking at it as a workout. You know, they say that a workout only accounts for around 10% of the energy used throughout the day anyway. So it's like looking at, okay, the workout isn't going to be the big thing that's going to necessarily help you recover, but it's like that overall movement across the whole day. So could we reduce the stress in the workout, maybe opting for like lower reps, lower weights, lower frequency, and then can we swap it out for a restorative yoga or a Pilates or a nice walk with a friend? And then we look at the day as a whole and be like, okay, how stressful is my day, and like how much movement is in my day? Can I reduce that anywhere? Basically what we want to do is, if you think that this is where we want to be, energy balance, and what probably has been happening, especially if you're watching this video or you've got history similar to mine, is the energy deficit has been like this for a long time, so it's going to take a while to get it back up to here. So we want to try and balance it out, and often we have to go a little bit up here, just to help our bodies recover. I was about to say, before I interrupted myself, which was weird, but go check out Stephanie Buttermill's videos on this. It's all around like set point weight and how we potentially have to go a little bit over to then come back down, and I'm really seeing that now in my body. What else do I have to say on the exercising? Restorative, reduce frequency, reduce intensity, look at movement as a whole and just start blooming enjoying it. Oh my god, magpie. And then I would look at your fueling around your training. Like I said, total daily is around 10% from training. So while we're looking at the movement as a whole across our day, we also want to be looking at the fuel across our day. So really recommended to me to never train fasted. It's I believe that some studies have shown that it actually increases cortisol in females, which can then obviously impact our hormones. And if we're trying to balance our hormones, we don't really want to be increasing our cortisol. So always eat something before. Orange juice and stuff like that is a really good one to like fuel you during sort of like long cardio sessions. So I am running a half marathon next week. By the time this goes out, it will be, I don't know, another magpie. And I'm probably going to carry orange juice and sweets and stuff like that around with me. So that is a good, and I know that my friend who is a cycling instructor, like a spinning instructor, she was also recommended to have orange juice throughout her classes that she's teaching. Then I would also, so having a good pre-workout, fuel, like quick sugar, why can't I talk? Quick sugar during your sessions, if required / if possible. And then your post-workout fuel is really, really essential. So if you normally have porridge, add more oats in, add more toppings, all that kind of thing. Then making sure, this is if you're training in the morning, but I would just really focus, what I do is focus all my food sort of mostly around my training. And when I say I then don't eat for the rest of the day, that's not the case. I just eat like big amounts, pre-workout, post-workout, and then the snack, and then like lunch and everything is just sort of like a normal size. But I really focus on like, okay, if this is what, if I'm training here, this amount of food around here needs to be really, really bulky. I was also recommended as well to backload my food. Our bodies need the fuel to get us through the day, so rather, and it's really common, and I was exactly the same, is that we actually save all of our food for the evenings. I did it all the time, so I'd like just really space out or have like really, really little tiny snacks right up until the evening, and then I'd just end up like just going in hard at the evenings. It was recommended to me to backload, and that is exactly what I do. So I do eat majority of my food like before lunch now, or sort of like in the day, should I say. And then I find that by the time dinner comes, I'm not actually like ravenous, and my digestion's so much better from that as well. What else do I have to say of training in HA? Big one actually. I just think, so this is obviously talking about people that are training for IHA, because there's also a separate camp, and that's often where we've become so obsessed with sort of making sure we're hitting our workouts and stuff that actually I would find that probably having a break is going to be more beneficial to you than continuing to exercise. And often it's just like that mindset reset, and it's that shift in mindset about why do we feel like we have to exercise when our body really needs to rest, that kind of thing. My camera is saying I have 0 minutes left on my memory card, so I'm going to have to call it right now. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel, and make sure you come check out my Instagram at Chloe Hodgkinson and my website Female Feel Good Club. Love you, bye.